This is awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm Johnny Ray.
I'm Dan.
And this is 5R Recovery. Coming at you from where? Where is this place?
Higher Line Solutions on Oaks Avenue.
All right, which is a
recovery facility for
transitional. He learned to talk this morning.
I'm tired.
I know. And why are you tired?
My lovely daughter Morgan had her baby.
Okay. And how do you feel about it?
So there's some mixed emotions about that, right? Like, I'm super excited. I'm happy. I'm super proud of her. I can't wait to hold my grandbaby, but so being sober and dealing with responsibility is a lot different than being out there on the streets and having to deal with responsibility out there. I don't give a fuck, right?
Right.
Now I got to have a job to take care of just my family. Now I'm going to have an extended family in my home. I'm a little scared. I'm scared for her. I'm scared for, my financial situation, hers. But it's a blessing. Like, I wouldn't have been able to be a part of this if I wasn't sober, right?
Right.
And it took our children so long to learn to trust us again.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, Morgan came here.
Yeah.
Not even a year, 9 months ago, to be exact.
Yeah.
To be honest. And it wasn't all fucking just the real gravy road there. It wasn't, unicorns and butterflies and all that fucking fancy floating on clouds.
Who the heck thinks it's like that?
Fucking, I don't know. Stupid people. I don't know.
Recovery is not like that. But anyway, continue. Pour your heart out, man.
Some people believe it is.
Whatever. I've never seen a freaking pink cloud.
No, I've never floated.
I have no idea what that is. I saw one when I did acid.
Yeah. Right. Might have been pink or purple or green. But I don't know, man. It's she came here, she was angry at us still, and now we've built this relationship of trust that I never thought I'd have with my children again.
Oh, I love that, bro.
And now I have a beautiful granddaughter who I can bring up around me in a right way, not a fucked up high out on the streets, fucking the grandmother's baby's mother being worried about us all the time. Fuck, I'm tired, bro.
It's okay, bro. You should. First of all, Dan, you've been doing great. Man, your life, you and Amy, and if you don't know Morgan, she is tough as nails.
She's amazing.
If you know her mom, then you know she's tough as nails. You just know, oh, Amy's your mom? Well, then you're tough as nails.
Fucking A.
So the fact that she's going through this, and we all get to be a family in recovery around it, is truly a blessing.
She's got more aunts, uncles.
Right.
Brothers,
she's got
sisters.
more friends. So, Pat wrote, I can hear it just fine. Perfect. Thanks. We're testing out our sound quality. We're testing out our video quality. But Dan, I think that's amazing. And Morgan is an amazing person. When she speaks at our meetings, it's heartfelt. It's deep. She brings up all these good ideas. We're hoping that she starts a young adults group for 5R Recovery. Obviously, we want her to take care of the baby first. Let's not add stuff to her plate right now because things are obviously going to be a struggle, in the first a little while. But if anybody can handle it, Morgan can handle it.
Oh, fuck it.
And she's in a place right now where she's got so much love and support. Like you said, aunts and uncles. I think that's beautiful. So, what we're talking about, why are we here? Well, we want to bring recovery to your living room.
Fuck yeah.
We want to bring it to you wherever you're at, and we want you to be able to interact. We want you to be able to watch us and talk to us and bring it live, right?
Laugh with us, cry with us.
Laugh with us, cry with us. We are not scripted. We don't rehearse anything. We are unedited. We are unprepared. Hopefully someday I would like for something to come across the screen, that's all fancy dancy. Like once
my picture.
Like Dan's beautiful face just comes up on the screen and it's like, this is Dan. And it's all like, people are like, I love Dan, That's stuff that people do. I don't know how to do that because I'm not technologically sound, but we will do that. We want to interview people. We're going to bring people from this facility. I love this facility because we have so many characters in this very short.
Oh my God,
I walk outside and there's like 5 people with their own personalities, with their own views, their own way of acting in recovery, but they're all 5R family, and we absolutely love that. Clara Coons, love that you're creating and providing this space. Well, thank you, Clara. I miss you guys so much. I hope you and Austin are doing well. Thank you for the input. And so Morgan was an addict. Yes, Morgan was an addict, which is makes your story. Go ahead, talk about it, man.
So Morgan was an addict. She also. So about 3 years. So about 3 years ago, I was in treatment, and while me and Amy were out in use, all of our children were taken away, obviously, and moved to their other family members' homes. We didn't know Morgan was an addict at the time until Amy had called me in treatment. She had gotten a call from Morgan's biological dad, and she had tried committing suicide and all this stuff. I mean, and so I got out of treatment. I came back here, and that's when I learned that Morgan was an addict. She went to Teen Challenge, which is a dual diagnosis center, Christian.
Amazing
place. Saved her life.
Yep.
And it changed her in a very positive direction to where now she wants to be that kind of person that helps people like that, right? So
she is that type of person.
She is. I'm sorry.
No,
you're right. No, you're completely right.
Like Lori Hardy, if you're watching, we love you. She taught us the different way that we talk. She is doing amazing things. Keep going. I didn't mean to
like you said, she is doing amazing things, right? She's a big part of 5R. She's a big part of what we do here. Like we were saying, everybody here, we consider each other a family.
Right.
5R is a family. It's not. What do we call those? Like in it's not like
fellowship.
A fellowship. It's a family. We take pride in that, right? Because we all care about each other. We all help each other, and we're here to lift each other up and help each other through anything. Morgan is amazing. Mm-hmm. She's a rock star, man. She just went through 12 hours of labor, 5 hours of pushing, right?
Holy cow!
Right?
I'm sore just thinking about it.
She popped out an 8-pound, 12-ounce baby.
Nice. Emery.
Amazing. Her name's Emery Michelle. Beautiful little girl. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just at a loss for words. I'm very tired. I'm sorry. I've been up all night, obviously. Worried grandpa. So, where were we?
No,
sorry, guys.
It's okay. He should be tired. So yeah, Morgan is an amazing person, and she's going to do so much to help people, and she already does do so much to help people. We're just looking forward to her bringing a young adult's perspective on a kid who has parents who are addicts and who is an addict themselves. You know, it brings those questions and those topics that people are have a difficult time talking about. Like, is it hereditary? Did it come from her seeing and observing your guys' behavior that made her do that? Or was it something that was in her genes and in her DNA that made her do that? I mean, these are real life topics. We want to talk about this stuff because I feel like recovery has been put in a box over the last 2 decades, okay? There's one ways to do it, and these ways work. These other fellowships, these other things, they work. I will not say that they do not work. Getting a sponsor and working your steps, these are all things that have been around for a long time. But what you have noticed is that it's not adapting or changing because it's set in its ways. You know, the traditions are the same. You know, the steps are the same. They should be the same. They work. But with the world around us, we also need those different outlets. We need to talk about the fentanyl crisis. You know, the fentanyl crisis is huge. It's in everything. It's killing more of our friends. More people are dying from it than anything else. We need to talk about fentanyl. Fentanyl was created by the same FDA, by the same CDC, by the same people that said that, oh man, morphine works. Let's create something that's 50 times stronger.
Right.
And you're like, okay, so let's morphine was working fine, but they're like, nah, I got an idea. Let's put something so potent out into the world that it literally destroys people on sight. And you're just like, why would you do that? I have no idea why they would do that, but I at least want to have the discussion on why they would do that.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. So like, we're going to come to your living room. We're going to bring people in. We have guests coming in and out. We're going to be talking about, ask us questions. I love that, Jody. That was my mom, Clara. She's on, and it looks like Fat Pat commented. We want you to comment. We want you to ask us questions. We want you to be involved in what we're talking about. Like if we say something that maybe sticks with you, we'd like you to hear about that.
Absolutely.
And I know Dan's
we'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, we're going to be really real. We're not going to, we don't shy away from, is the father of Emery in the picture?
No, he is not. I don't know how much of this I can disclose. I can't say any names or anything, but Morgan was.
Yeah, I think that says it all.
Yeah. So no, he is not.
Yeah. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate the question. Yeah. So yeah, I think that says it all right there.
Right. I got to be careful.
I don't want him to go stab anybody. So that's really why we're not going to talk any more into that. That's why I cut you off. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's definitely another thing that is difficult. So you want to go into our topic?
Let's do it.
Our topic today is the thoughts of an addictive mind. What runs through our brains? What weird stuff do we think about? all the time. I think about some of the strangest stuff, some of which I can't even talk about live. And I know we're going to be honest and open about everything, but some of
carefully honest.
Yeah, carefully honest. Some of the stuff we talk about is, I think about is sick. So I can't help it. It's like, it's strange. Like we were just talking, we'll be driving down the road, and this was something I brought up earlier behind the screens. I'll see a tree with a nice cover over it, right? Like almost like a perfect mushroom. And I'll think to myself, wow, if I ever go back into active addiction, I can sleep under there and that'll keep me dry.
Right.
I don't plan on going back into active addiction. I don't plan on ever. That's not the way I think. That's not what I want to do. So why does my brain automatically think that way? Like, why am I already plotting what's going to happen if I go out and relapse?
So for me, what I feel like that is the addictive mindset, right? That we have learned while we're out there.
Yeah.
Like we're always looking when you're out there and you're homeless and you're living in a fucking tent. You're always looking for the perfect spot where the cops ain't gonna come and bug you,
and I can smoke.
Then you can do your thing.
That's always
whatever it is.
I like no wind, so right? I can, that's what I'm always looking for. That
off the beaten path, you know.
Yes.
And I do the same thing. Like I'll be driving down the fucking freeway in the middle of fucking going down to my dad's in Oregon. I'll be like, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a good. What the fuck am I thinking?
Why?
Right, like instinct. I'm like, what am I doing?
It's very strange. I'll tell them about what happened this morning. You want me to tell them?
Oh yeah.
So this morning I woke up and there was a bag of bacon and cheddar Cheez-Its on my shelf. Now it's only like 8 a.m. Okay, so I've woke up. I've made my coffee. There's a bacon and cheddar Cheez-Its. I open it up. I start eating them for breakfast. Why? Because my brain rationalized that they're bacon flavored, so that makes sense. So at least there's bacon for breakfast, right?
Right.
It makes complete sense. Hi, Dustin. How are you? Good. What do you got? You got a sandwich? You made me one?
I can.
No, I'm just kidding, bro. He worked to hand you a sandwich. You didn't want it. Pat was like, dude, I'm all over that.
No, right? No shit.
Why didn't he go to us three first? We know he's going to eat it. Yeah, he's sort of going, yeah.
He's like, yeah.
We definitely have some amazing people in this facility. Dustin's video is online. Dan's video is online.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a testimony with both Val and Pat who are here. We're going to bring people in. Let's see. Do addicts think about the future, or do you live mostly day by day? God, Mom, what's
so are you asking that in addiction? No, we live day by day. As we recover, absolutely, we think about our future. Like I think about my future all the time. Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? I want to own my own home. I want to own my own clean and sober facilities. I want to be making better money than I do now, and just be a big part of the community where I'm helping and not hurting it.
Yeah. So a lot of you'll hear cliche, take it one day at a time. That's what they say. In 5R, we set the reborn phase has to do with setting short-term and long-term goals for yourself. So we want you to think about the day by day, and we also want you to think about the future. So that's our program, right? That's what 5R is. We want you to think about both. You should think about both. You should take it day by day, but also have plans for the future, right? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? For most part, the reborn phase for people is very basic. It's very simplistic. It's like, I need my license back. I need a car. I need a job. I need to be able to get custody of my kids. I need to, all these different things. But you should think about, well, do I want to go back to school? Do I want to have a house? Is that Jennifer Lambert?
It is. What's up, Jen?
We miss you and love you.
Sometimes I got to a meeting when I'm going through things to hear
Why
someone
is the writing
share
so small? We both have to
their
go.
mess to realize mine isn't so bad.
Absolutely. I
Beautiful.
do too.
Well said, Jen. Well said. So,
I think that's common with anybody that goes to NA or any program.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to be reminded that, you know what? Maybe what we're going through at that moment is not that hard.
So Monday night's topic, we're going to do a Monday night YouTube interview with Amanda and Dave, and we actually are going to touch up on why do addicts compare? Why, as people who are in recovery, compare themselves to other addicts in recovery? It's oh my God, he's got a cool car. I need a cool car. Why do we do that? I think that's just basic common human nature. I think people always compare themselves to
I did that with
else.
You when I was trying to find a sponsor. To be honest, I wanted to get in your pocket because I saw what you were doing in the community and shit.
Thanks, man.
No, I mean that's real.
I work out, so that's got a lot to do with it. It's a gym membership. It's all about lifting weights for me, and No, I don't. Go to
No,
the
you
gym.
don't, bro.
This is not
You know what? The
fucking
only
gym.
weight you lift up is a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola and a bag of Cheetos, bro.
Cheez-Its,
Oh,
bacon
sorry, Cheez-Its.
flavored. And then she says, Jennifer Landon says, love you guys. Love you too,
Love you
Jennifer.
too, Jen.
You're an amazing example. Let's talk about Jennifer. An amazing, she does pallet housing right over here. Let's give her a shout out. Does amazing thing for the homeless community. Works extremely hard. Just got herself an apartment. We love you, Jennifer. You are an amazing human being. We love you. Do addicts feel trapped in a prescribed cultural narrative? Wow, using big words on us, Clara. Using big words on us. Do addicts feel trapped? We have to. Why is it so tiny?
I
We're
don't
gonna have
know,
to figure out a different screen.
We're gonna have to put it up on the TV
Yeah.
next time.
So
or
it says,
something.
do addicts feel trapped? Did we answer all the other questions? Do addicts think about future? Yes, we did. Okay, thank you, Val. One of our producers is behind us giving us the head nod. Do addicts feel trapped in a prescribed cultural narrative for what recovery looks like? Absolutely, they do. What needs to be undone or rewritten, and how we can support addicts through that? Oh my gosh, Clara! If I touch upon this subject, so many people are going to get mad at me.
So let's simplify it. I think that NA is a wonderful program. I think CA is a wonderful program. I think AA. I think all these programs are wonderful, right? But I also think we need more. I think that I don't think it needs to be rewritten, but I think there just needs to be something added to it. That's my personal belief. I think like what 5R is doing, going out into the community, doing a little more outreach maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into too much detail about it. Like Johnny said, it'll piss people off.
And I am totally ready to piss people off. You ready for this?
Do it, bro.
Okay, so addiction should not be simplified, right? And it should not be approached as a group as compared to the individual. Each person should be handled individually. What works for one person might not work for somebody else. Okay? I believe over the last 40 years, we have started treating addicts as victims. We've turned into this society to where we treat them like they are incapable of doing things. Like they're incapable of getting a job. They're incapable of getting better, to where now they have this victim mentality, to where we coddle them, to where we talk to them like we talk to our pets. Like we look at them like oh my God, it's okay. Everything's going to get better. You know what? It might not. And that's something we need to talk about. So you might die from this. And how many people say that in these fellowships? How many times do people talk about that in these programs? You might not make it. I've actually said that to people's to people who have children in addiction. They come to me as parents and say, Johnny Ray, my kid is in active addiction. I'm just trying to help him. How can I help him? The first thing I say is he might die. There's a good chance. I mean, I don't know, unless he starts working a program and getting involved in his community and actually doing something, there's a good chance that he could die unless he makes the changes right now. Well, what can others do for him?
Nothing.
Nothing. He needs to make the decision right here, right now to get better.
And you need to stop doing shit for him, too.
And
Let's be real.
I feel like the narrative is, well, I've screwed up my life for 20 years, so now that I'm clean, I want you to take care of me. I want you to take care of the decisions that I made, and I want you to make me feel better. Like, that's not okay. Oh, yeah, the dogs. It's okay. The dog can be on.
Yeah, she's been on video with us.
So, like, that's how I feel, Clara, and it's something that I get a lot of flack. I've never been worried about controversy. I'm not worried about talking about those difficult things. I do get a lot of pushback and a lot of flack for it, Clara, but it is. People have fit into this narrative that they believe that addicts need to be taken care of by others. No, you need to take care of yourself. We are all about empowering people to empower themselves. If you reach a certain milestone, we'll match you there. Don't do it on camera. What the hell's the matter with you guys?
I'm sorry.
It's a small room.
Yeah, what are you doing,
What
bro?
are we doing in here, bro? And then the dog. Hi, here's the dog. I was really on a hot topic there, but maybe we just have two interactions.
Okay, so check this out. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
What is the best way you found the way out of your addictive addiction of your life?
Okay, Pat, learn to spell. What is the best way you have found the way out of your active addiction in your guy's life? Okay. Well, apparently people in the comments have a difficult time spelling, which is okay. Which is okay, because if I was on that end, I might not be very good at it. Okay, you want to tackle it? What was the best way for you to get clean? I'm pretty much that's what it is, Pat, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
for me, I'm not gonna lie. I went to treatment, obviously. I was threatened by my wife that if I didn't get clean, we had nothing else to talk about, that we were gonna get a divorce. That kind of pushed me in the right direction to go to treatment. Working my 12-step program through NA when I first got out, and going to my IOP. But it's also a mindset for me. I was done. I was fucking finished, right? Like, I did not want to wake up and have to stick a needle in my arm just to feel, well, what we would call normal at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, it was a mindset. It was, I had to be done. I had to be ready to quit.
I had to hit rock bottom.
Fuck yeah, dude. Beyond rock bottom.
Unfortunately, there's going to be two ways you're going to go. When you hit rock bottom, you're either going to go up, which is the only way to go, or death.
Right.
And again, it's one of those topics that people don't like to talk about. We're all not strong enough to beat addiction. I know that scares people, right? They're like, "What do you mean? You're saying I'm not strong?" Yeah, some of you aren't. Right. It's reality, right? It's like either some of us are going to get clean and change our lives. Val is an amazing person who talks about this stuff. He's somebody who says, "Look, I had to do it for me. It was all me. I took responsibility for my shit, and I fixed it." And that is why he's the character who he is today. Is because eventually he was just like, "Enough. I'm done."
Matter of fact,
you have to hit that ground, right? We're way behind.
So no. I was looking at the next question.
No, that's what I mean. There is like we're like 4 questions in, so we'll awesome. Answer. Yeah, thank you everybody for participating. So again, I had to hit rock bottom. For me, it was in the back of a pickup truck. I actually got clean in the back of a pickup truck with no medication and no treatment. Okay, it was an absolute nightmare for me. I wanted to die. I prayed for death, and it didn't happen. But I'm thankful for my life today. But I only had one way to go. I was either going to go up, like I said, or I was going to die in the back of a pickup truck at a campsite after I had burned every bridge with every family member. I lost everything. I had no money, no food, no friends, no family, nothing. I had absolutely nothing. I had only one option: to surrender. And that's what we do. We surrender. We surrender to God and say, "Look, if you want something of me, I will give it over to you. I turn my life and my will over to you because I can't make these decisions anymore." And you know what ended up happening? Doors started opening up. I didn't even go look for help or support. It just started showing up. People started inviting me to meetings. The fellowship is an amazing program. Like I said, I don't have a problem with fellowships. I have a problem with people in the fellowships. There's certain mentalities that have happened. You know, they break their own. They break their own traditions. They talk about, well, we're supposed to be we're supposed to be servants. We're not supposed to govern, right? What does it say? Like, we're supposed to be trusted servants. We do not govern. That's one of our traditions, right? Well, a lot of people decided that they're going to govern, and those kinds of people, I don't want to be around the people that think that they can make the decisions for a fellowship that resides in the power of the meetings. The whole fellowship should reside in the power of the meetings. So it shouldn't be an individual. It should be the groups. It should be the home groups and the meetings all around. But people have taken it upon themselves to make decisions for others, and I don't like that. I also don't like that we coddle people, like we talked about with Clara's question. I want people to take responsibility for their actions and start standing up for their recovery and be proud of who they are. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have a bunch of, so do addicts feel trapped in a prescribed culture? Now, we did that one. Fat Pat, we did that one. Ground, love you. Sorry, we're getting new at this, and it's very tiny to read the comments.
Curious what kind of language you would use when approaching someone, in the case, a teenager in active addiction. Tough love. Curious how compassion can be looped into that. Ooh, that's
Clara,
good.
you should be on the show. So we are breeding a generation. Oh, God. Are you ready for this? We are breeding a generation of weak-minded, completely reliant on social media adults. We are raising children with computer screens being their main outlet for information. When I was a kid, if I didn't know the answer to something, I had to ask an elder. Or
pick up a book.
Or go to the library. They have all their answers at the touch of their fingertips now. Every kid does. They're getting phones at 13, 12, 10 years old. Mainly because parents have lost the ability to be able to teach them the things that they need to teach them, right?
Absolutely.
Reality things, like how to cook for yourself, how to pay your bills, these are things
I have grown men that don't even know how to do their laundry when they come here.
Exactly. And you look at it like all of them have TikTok accounts, but none of them know how to fold laundry. That's a problem, and that's something that we need to address. So I deal with a lot of parents with a lot of kids in active addiction, and unfortunately, I tell them the same way. Claire, it is hard to loop passion into somebody. You're coming up here.
No, you're next.
Yeah. So it is hard to link compassion and to not sound insensitive when approaching somebody who is young in active addiction. It really is, because relatability is so crucial. They need to know that we've gone through what they've gone through. That's why it's important for kids who are in active addiction or people who are struggling with addiction to not rely on somebody who learned about it in school. You're good, Val. We're good. Yeah.
Bye, Val.
Sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on out here for us to. So, it's hard. Unfortunately, like you said, tough love is our approach at 5R. We approach you and say what I just said. you might not make it.
Right.
If you don't make better decisions, it's going to be really, really hard for you. And it's time to take responsibility for your actions and be.
And you got to stick with that tough.
You got to stick with it.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Is.
I've got a daughter out there right now, and I've had to cut her off.
Boom.
She's sitting in jail now.
Yeah.
After jumping out of a fucking truck, almost killing herself, going back out, getting beat up by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Picking up charges left and right, stolen vehicle, this and that, right? And it's hard. But you know what I have learned is the more I cut her off and the more I don't coddle her, the more she's looking to get in recovery. Right now, she's waiting to go to treatment, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
We all have to find a point in our lives, even children, teenagers especially, that they got to go, oh shit, this ain't what I want.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it involves a certain level of scaring them. People with our
That's
stories, people with our stories, Pat's story is enough to say, look, do you want this life? Because it took me 20 years to figure out. When I got clean after 20 years, I had to learn how to do laundry. I had to learn how to provide for myself. I had to do, we'll get to it. We're like
That's
3
April.
out. Yeah, hi, April. I'm so
Hi,
glad you
April.
joined us. We're trying to get through all the questions, of course. But again, it was one of those things where I had to figure out the hard way. And I believe the hard way is the way that will last the most. I believe if you throw money and resources at people and say, okay, we'll take care of you. We'll give you money. We'll give you housing. We'll give you food. We'll give you vouchers. We'll do all this stuff. I don't think it solves the problem, which is
and
why,
not hold their hand.
Yeah,
I mean, like
for
they got to
sure.
work for this
Work
shit,
for
right?
it,
That's
which
how you build. I'm sorry, April, integrity, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think that if anybody would have just fucking held my hand through the beginning of my recovery or any point in my recovery, even to this day, that I would be anywhere but back out on the streets.
Right.
I would not have learned nothing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I believe this with most addicts, we got to learn the fucking hard way.
We do. And it doesn't mean that we're not compassionate, but we have to be realists. We have to understand that the real life situation is this. Drug addiction is no joke. It is absolutely difficult. It is a struggle. And you should be in pain when you're in recovery. Anybody who talks about this pink cloud and all this stuff, it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's like, it should be painful. You should have serious withdrawals. You should have serious appetite problems, emotional problems, medical problems. These are all things like you should have gut issues, because if you don't, and you don't face those things head on, then there's no cure for that. There's no way to get better unless you face some of the most difficult things that you have to. And that is realizing that I made it out of something that was a choice that I made back in my life. And I'm so thankful for my life today. I absolutely love, I put new tires on my car. Okay. I didn't put new tires on my car when the wires were showing like I used to do. Right. Like in active, those little things. You're like,
that's how we think in active addiction.
I put tires on my car because I felt like it was time to put brand new tires on my car. And I was able to do that from working a hard job, paying my bills, and going out there and making my car. It's stuff like that. I love what he said about Katie. Katie's an amazing, smart, intelligent young lady who's making some bad decisions. So the best thing he said was, I got to cut you off. I got to say, I'm sorry. I can't help you. And until you make that decision, that was one of the best decisions my father made in my life. A lot of people might not know that my father just was not okay with what I was doing and just kind of was like, I'm not going to be involved in this. You're not my son, because I know what my son is capable of. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's fun. He's funny. He's a good guy. But that's not him. Right now, all I see is methamphetamine, so I can't help you. And that was hard because, to give your son, it's hard for Dan to not take Katie in and say, how do I help you out? He runs a clean and sober living facility, but that's the thing is it was just enabler. We use that word a lot, enabling. You can't enable these people. You can't enable these kids. It's very, very difficult. What was the next question? I'm sorry. We get, Ken looped into that speech. I love Clara. Thank you so much for your input. How do I know I'm getting complacent with my recovery or just working and living life, being a productive member of society? I think being a productive member of society is not make you complacent. You're complacent.
You're going to answer that.
That was from Jennifer Lander. I believe that being a productive member of society is not being complacent. So you guys got to be quiet over there. They can't hear what we're talking about. Come on. Oh, it's the dog. No, it's okay. My voice is the worst over there. So again, being complacent in your, got this. Hi, Val.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Are you going to be camera shocked?
Yes.
Okay. This is Val. I mentioned him earlier. He's doing absolutely amazing things in recovery. He's also wearing a 5R hat. Ballin'. So let me finish this, and then we'll get into Val and maybe talk a little bit about your story and stuff. Is that cool? Maybe. Okay. Okay, maybe. Why don't you answer this question? How do I know if I'm getting complacent with my recovery or just working and living life, being a productive member of society?
That's a good question.
Dang good question, Jennifer. Still love ya.
I work a full-time job. I try to see my kids as much as possible. I feel like I'm getting complacent in my recovery when I stop going to meetings. I know that I'm working my program when I go to meetings and I share and I listen and I take in the input of others. It's easier to be full part of recovery when you first get out of treatment and you have 4, 5, 6 months of not working. You have all the time in the world to go do your meetings, do your IOP, do continued care. And then once you get a job and you start to work, like when I come home, sometimes I'm really tired and I just want to go to sleep. And sleep is part of that self-care that they teach you in treatment, that you have to take care of that. Like you have to sleep, especially for all the years that we didn't sleep, right?
Yeah.
All the chasing the drugs and, finding the next bag. I don't feel like I'm actually complacent in my recovery. I'm still very active in it. I take part of H&I for Narcotics Anonymous, and I, share a message of hope to other addicts who can't make it to meetings.
It's awesome.
It's good to hear feedback from those addicts, like to let you know that like your message worked, that what you're doing in your recovery is enlightening other people and letting them know that they can take part in recovery too and change their way of life.
Yeah, I love that. Val touched on some amazing things. So I think being a productive member of society is the goal. So being a productive member of society is what you should be doing, Jennifer, right? And that's by going to work every single day, paying your bills, taking care of your children, doing these things, right? It's not saying that meetings should completely go away, but they should subside. I find it interesting, people who have 30 years of recovery who are still going to a meeting every single night. And I'm not saying that in just my opinion, who has time for that? Like I don't have time to go to a meeting every single night because I'm too busy working and saving up and trying to better my life in other aspects, right? Like that's what that's the end goal. The end goal should be being productive members of society constantly, just helping out the world and bettering the world from which we took from for so long. And it can be in every little thing. Pat, where are you going? You're going to be in this here pretty soon, right?
You want to go hold my dick while I piss?
No, I don't actually. I can't. I don't think I can hold my fingers that tight. Okay, that's so funny. Anyway, so that's the answer to that question. I think the end goal is to be a productive member of society. And you know what, Jennifer, you are an amazing. You are the definition of what coming from severe addiction to where you are now. And that Jennifer's one of them. She's an amazing inspiration. Her story inspires people. Our story is what gets to people. That's a great way for us to reach young adults, is to be like, look, I've eaten out of garbage cans. When I was starving, I ate out of garbage cans because I didn't have any food. I've slept under bridges, cold, shivering, with nothing but a tarp over me, right? I've slept on park benches in downtown Seattle. Do you want to sleep on park benches in downtown Seattle? Because that's where you might go. Or maybe it takes that park bench for you to be able to get clean. Because it did for me. It had to be me broken completely down for it to work. Okay, the next question is from my mom. Seems like a lot of these organizations overlap. Why don't more of these programs work together to help more people? Wow.
To be honest, I don't feel it's the programs. So I feel like Johnny said earlier, it's the people in the programs.
Yes.
Because NA, MA, HA,
CA, CR.
NA, if you look deeply into it, it's all the same program.
It is. It all derived from AA.
But the people that are in the program decide to segregate themselves and stick to only CA or only NA,
right?
Or only AA.
We at 5R believe multiple avenues of recovery. You should be involved in as much as possible, not just 5R. You should have a sponsor. You should work steps. You should be involved in everything in recovery. You should go to the recovery cafe. You should go to the diversion center and speak. You should go out and do all of these things, and we support that. And that's what kind of makes 5R, to be honest, a little bit hated on. It's because a lot of the people want us to just be more segregated with their specific program.
Yeah. They do all work with each other though, in some form or another. Like, we don't segregate people in NA. Like, we don't tell you that you can't go to AA, you can't go to CA. Whatever works for you as an addict is what's going to work for you as an addict. Johnny said earlier that, it's not so much like one thing that works for him is not going to work for me.
Right.
One thing that works for me might not work for him.
Right.
I, on the other hand, have not eaten out of dumpsters. everybody's low is a different low. You know, I never did jail time. I don't have any criminal record in the 20 in the 20 years of drug use.
I've been handcuffed a lot.
Me too. But I still have no record. My low was basically just wanting to be with my kids again. And like that, I couldn't get clean at 30 like I wanted to. I couldn't get clean when I had my first child or my second child. But I asked a question on this that said, like, you know, what do you feel is the most important thing to remember when going through it and your brain is telling you to go back out? And the one thing that works the most for me is remembering where I came from. Which is the first R in 5R recovery. Remembering where we came from. Remembering June 13th and at 5:50 in the morning on June 14th that I just didn't want to live this life anymore and something had to change. So I reached for my higher power and literally it brought me through treatment all the way through. I did family drug court so I could be held accountable because I knew how to screw the system over from the multiple years of doing it. There had to be something different in my life, and my low point was different than everyone else's.
Tell them about our interaction at the diversion center, if you remember it. Do you remember it?
A little bit. So Johnny came to the diversion center when I was in there, and I was only in there for 4 days before I went to inpatient treatment. And he happened to be the first meeting that I attended.
5R. Yep, not a name.
He happened to be the first meeting that I attended after get clean, and he had 2 other individuals that live where I'm living now speak, and I just couldn't grasp the concept of what 5R was. So, you know, I basically just asked them, what are you and what do you do for, like, what can you do for me that will make me decide to choose 5R? And he just said that he'll be there for us. Like, 5R will be there for you. And so far, 5R has been there for me. I mean, I went through treatment and everything. 7 months later, I find Johnny Ray again in one form or another. And now I'm, you know, almost done with family drug court, and I'm trying to be a big part of 5R recovery. And I want to open up, you know, men and children houses in the city of Everett for, you know, more men to step up for their kids. And I don't know, it's easy as a guy to get kicked out by the system, to essentially be told, you know, go do what you want to do and let the mother handle the baby aspect and just pay child support. And, you know, it's really hard to comprehend that. There's a lot of resentments that I hold inside myself that I'm trying to work through when it comes to that aspect, because, like, you know, it is hard being a guy trying to fight for your kids. And I just remember where I came from, and I don't want to go back there. As much as society and the system wants you to, I just remember I don't want to do that.
It's beautiful, man. I love
it.
Once you get him on camera, you know, once it starts going, once you realize that the camera is just kind of like a hindrance. So I'm going to go back to the question that was asked by my mom. Love you, Mom. Thanks for the support. Couldn't do it without her. Where I'm at today is a direct reflection of how amazing my mom is. She's my stepmom, but I call her Mom. It probably would piss my regular mom off, but no, it doesn't. It's just kidding. So I do believe there is a segregation between fellowships, okay? And I'll give you an example. So one of the first things that turned me off about the people in fellowships, not the fellowships themselves, because they're successful and they work and they're awesome, but one of the things that really took me away from a fellowship was we had a guy come in and to our meeting, and something was said. He said, I'm sober. And my meeting jumped all down his throat and made him correct his verbiage and say, well, I'm clean. Because clean means something different than, say, being sober. To me, it's the exact same thing. But to tear somebody down who is going through recovery because he used the wrong freaking word really pisses me off. Because here's a guy who's broken. He's just looking for community. I don't believe the opposite of addiction is necessarily sobriety, right? We talk about this. The opposite of addiction, to me, is community. It's connection. It's relationship. Of course, sobriety is important, but just being clean is not being in recovery. So it's extremely important for the newcomer, for the people to come around, to feel accepted, to be welcome. Who cares if you call it sober? Who cares if you call it clean? I don't care. Whatever works for you is what it works for you. So I do see that. The other thing that really turned me away, this is you're getting into the secret side of Johnny Ray, was I remember one time I mentioned Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior at one of my meetings. And I was jumped down. I got jumped down my throat because this isn't a religious program. But yet a higher power can mean anything. So doesn't that kind of contradict itself? Like, if a higher power can mean anything, and I'm a Christian, and I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, isn't that my higher power? So again, it's just the lingo. Those are things that really turned me off about certain people in the fellowship. Was I'm like, to me, it just seems like people have their own way of doing things, just like we all do. And they want you to accept the way that their way is the only way to go. And I don't believe that. And 5R doesn't believe that. You should do whatever you can. I love that Val wants to open up clean and sober houses for fathers and their kids. I think that's an amazing thing. And it is a struggle for men. I'm not saying it's not a struggle for women, but it's definitely just as struggling. I mean, the women take care of all, the men pay the thing. And this is how Val feels, and this is what he believes. And so it's great. I hope 5R Recovery can open up a couple of those clean and sober living facilities with Val at the head of that project. That's something we want to come alongside him and do. It's absolutely an amazing idea, and we definitely want some of those. Do we want to get Pat in here?
Yes, we
Should
do.
we get Pat in here?
Yes, we do.
He's over there just like huffing. Val, thank you so much. Again, tons of questions. We'll get to them. I really appreciate you guys interacting. This is what makes it. We've been doing this for 40 minutes, and we're still rolling strong. Pat, get in here, you big guy. You ready to tackle a question? This is Pat, and if you notice, he's sporting the 5R swag. Loving it. How are you, Pat?
A little nervous.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did sound check and you were fine. How about this? We'll start you with a question, okay? Let's see. I think we answered April's, but hello, April. Okay, let's talk about April. Give her a shout out real quick. April does some amazing stuff for this community. You want to talk about a girl who takes on a bunch of different projects, a woman, sorry. That's going to be one of those things where people are going to be like, I'm not a girl, right? Bragg, are you listening to this?
Oh, I'm listening.
He's like a deer in headlights. Do you have water? I need some water. I'm freaking dying. Oh, no, my coffee's right there. Coffee's right there. So, April, amazing, smart, intelligent, passionate about what she does. She's out there just like creating all of these amazing relationships. She's killing it in her recovery. Also, we're going to have her on here and have her do her testimony and talk about her story, but when she has less time. Or, yeah,
Less time.
when she has more time. Excuse me. Sorry, I talk fast. I'm a tweaker. Anyway, okay, so how do you install integrity in the newcomer? We kind of touched up on it, but I want you to answer the question, Pat, if you can. How do we reach the newcomer?
Look, be out there and be loving to them. Like, if they need a ride to go to a meeting, I don't care who it is. Look, I'm in drug court. I got 507 days clean.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, you do.
Well, yeah,
Is that-
507 days.
Nice.
Look,
Give or take.
I'm coming from 18 years of active addiction, and like, look, when I first got in the NA halls, you know, I've been in and out of the NA halls since I was 12 years old, and they've always been clicked, so it's never been my real passion to go to them. Some meetings I'm willing to go more because it's not clicked up. And like, it's reaching out to the newcomer willing to help them. Just going out and buying them a cup of coffee and talking to them and trying to figure out where their head's at and what space they're in is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, I feel like the word integrity is something that all addicts lack. Right? We've never had to worry about integrity. I had to worry about where I get my drugs and who I'm not sharing them with. Like, that's my life. Integrity, I didn't care. What was that?
It's not so much of where I'm with my drugs and who I'm going to share with. I'd share with everybody. I don't give a shit. It's who's I going to go rob next.
See?
Right.
Where was my next come up going to be? Like,
Lack of integrity.
like I had no morals. I had no integrity. It's like, look, if someone had a plot to go do something, I was the first person a lot of people would call. Like, April's done a lot in her recovery. Like, she's on the board of drug court now.
Nice.
And, you know, I know she's put a little bit of a mouse in some of the other team to, you know, help me get my waiver for my high school diploma, because I'm coming up on phase 4 within the next 2 months. I'll be in phase 4. And if I can get the high school waiver for it, I'll go to phase 4 in the next 2 months. I just got finished completing MRT, just like Val was saying. Like, look, it's a really good program, but look, it's a hard program. It's probably one of the hardest programs I ever put myself through. The first time I did it, I was in it for almost 4 months. I opted in, and then, you know, I got kicked out for smoking pot and smoking dope, because eventually, you know, you can only flush your system so many times before it doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. I learned the hard way, and I went and got DOSA and thought, I'll do DOSA, and then, you know, got in a fight and got my DOSA revoked, and I did all 68 months in prison. And now I'm coming up on a lot of more years even involved for going out there and, you know, because I wasn't ready to get clean, and I got a second opportunity to get drug court, and I've taken full advantage of this program. I go to 3 meetings on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I do a meeting called Alumni Group for drug court. Tuesday or Fridays, I do one at 5 o'clock, and then one on Saturdays, I do one. And then I also go to Hot Mess, which is probably the only NA group that I actually really go to that I really enjoy that on Saturday evenings.
My home group.
Get in the shot and say it.
Yeah, it would be Val's home
Advertise it, bro. Sorry.
And then, I've found myself again. Yeah, I may be almost 400 pounds, but look, I literally have found myself. Look, I own 2 cars. I make payments on one of my cars. I just paid off my other car. Look, recovery is 100% possible. It's where are you at in your mindset?
Mm-hmm.
And look, I came into this program knowing I was going to complete drug court, and I'm going to complete it regardless, high school diploma or not. Like, I'm going to do everything they're required. Besides that, that's the only thing I have difficulties with. And like, even the spelling, it can be shown real easy. I'm not the biggest speller.
Can I tell your first interaction with me story?
Sure.
Do you even remember what it was?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, so this is another one of those stories where if you see where Pat has been, no, she's not. No, okay. So if you see where Pat has been to where he is now, I'm going to tell you the first interaction I had with Pat. I showed up here at Higher Line Oaks, and here's this guy, big guy, comes up to me, and he asks me how I can help him get his license back. And when I tell him how he can get his license back, he goes, no, I mean like the easy way where I don't have to do anything. And I mean, just like straight face. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Pat, that's not what I do. Like, you want to know what to do? Go to the freaking DMV, stand in line for freaking 2.5 hours, pay off all your freaking. And I mean, he was just like, oh, I thought you were Johnny Ray with all like the easy answers. And I'm like,
That is the
that is easy. And he was just like, well, that sucked. Like, he was like so disappointed in our interaction. He was like, well, who's this guy? He sucks. He's in what I heard all this fancy stuff about. He's just some guy that makes you work for your recovery. And now you look at him and look at what he's done. He's worked for his recovery and he's kicking ass. Let's go, Pat. Be happy about your life. He's doing absolutely amazing. He is the 5R swag representative. He will probably be the head of security when we need the security team. Right. What do you think of that? Oh, yeah. That's a good job to have, bro. People just look at Pat and say, nope.
Having someone ask me to actually, be around money, trust me with security, and run it, that's a huge opportunity. Like that's really big on people wanting to actually ask me for something from where I came from. Because if you knew my active addiction, last thing you want is cash in my hand.
Dang right.
Dang right. And that's being like one of the still like.
Oh shit! Sorry,
You're gonna make him.
The things that go through the
sorry.
Like,
right?
And in the alumni group, I met a guy named Jesse Fisher. Like, he's became one of my best friends. Like, he's well known in Snohomish County. Just like I'm well known, and like he does amazing tattoo work. I just want to like put that shout out on this. Like,
nice, shout out to our people, man.
He does. He's fully involved in 5R recovery, but like he does amazing. Just like this tattoo right here, is one of the first ones that he's ever done for a Satchar the cat, and like,
dude, it turned out awesome.
It's beautiful.
Like, he did an amazing job, and like I had to put my clean date in there instead of putting the clock that they normally have on there. My clean date, because that's not something I'm never going to lose again. Because look, a tattoo is permanent.
Dang
so
right,
that tattoo, so that clean date is going to always be with me.
Love that.
And so anytime I get discouraged or anything, I look in the mirror and be like, nope, not going to use today. Not going to happen. Not this minute, not the next minute.
That's awesome. Right. Good job, Pat. So Lauren didn't want to come and say hi?
Nah, she's still a little too nervous.
Gosh, everybody gets so nervous on that. Pretty soon, it's going to be like I think you make it a mandatory thing here. I think we're going to make it at 5th Street. No, I'm just kidding.
I've already told him that 5 hours.
It's good for them to come on. Listen to Pat. He's like, oh, I'm all nervous. And then he spits fire the entire time. Same with Val. Like, I saw a grin, but I'm not putting him on here without his teeth.
Right.
What's wrong with this guy? Put your freaking teeth in, dude.
He never
puts his teeth in. He looks like an 80-year-old man.
Fuck, don't put Bob on here then.
Oh my God.
Don't put Shane Collins on here.
Put your teeth in, Graham, you idiot. I mean, what do you have them for? You ruin all your freaking teeth, and then you get these beautiful shiners, and you're like, no, I'm not going to wear them. I'm going to look like I just got them sucking on a Sour Patch Kid for like the last 2 hours. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. So April, most important question. You get to treatment, Val, laugh out loud. 4 words you need to ask. I assume that she means something. She's probably not even on anymore. We're losing our viewers. You think that's because of Pat?
No.
I think it's because of
I mean, it
Dan.
could be.
I think it's because of me because I get a little crazy.
No, I think it's because we've been on here for 45 minutes.
Well, wait, this should be an ever looping thing. Okay, the last question is from my mom. Where does God fit into 5-hour recovery? And where should God fit into? Whoa, wait.
Sorry.
I love how they both have the same answer. Okay, where does God fit into 5-hour recovery? And where should God? I think I just touched your nuts. Because
That was hot, bro.
Okay, sorry.
I
Sorry, it
liked
was.
it.
Dude, my hand's back here. He leans in. I feel really uncomfortable now. Okay, whoa, we're sick people. Remember, we're sick. Okay, where does God fit into 5-hour recovery, and where should God? I told you to do it to Val, not to me, bro. I told you to do it to Val. You don't do it to me. That's not. You don't take my idea and then do it to me. That's weird. Okay, sorry, God, 5-hour. Thank you. One of our producers is saying, Johnny, focus. He doesn't understand. I am a tweaker, and he's a squirrel right now. Okay, where does God fit into 5-hour, and where should God fit into addicts and recovery? That's from my dad, actually.
Wow.
Who wants? You want me to go first?
Go for it.
God is absolutely everything. It's why we're here. It's why we do. All glory goes to God. He fights all of our battles. He takes care of everything. What I have known with 5-hour recovery, though, is that people who come into our program either don't know God or are scared of God. And to approach them with what God is or what their beliefs in God are has to come almost more gentle than you would about their recovery. I don't want to scare people off. And I know a lot of people who have come into a 5-hour recovery and have a very serious distaste for God. And they've either been offended by somebody at church. Well, church isn't God. They've either been offended by somebody, so a pastor. Pastor is not God, okay?
Right.
So what we really want to establish in 5-hour recovery is no matter what you feel about God, he can handle it.
Right.
I tell people that all the time. You can curse at God. You can be angry at God. You can be frustrated with God. You can blame God, and he can handle all of it. So think about that. Take that into consideration when you're living the life that you're living, and you're so frustrated with everything that's going on. God is everything to me. And there's a lot of people that come into 5-hour who are atheists, and I welcome them with open arms. Maybe they just haven't found the Lord yet. Maybe they just haven't found God yet. But I am not a program that wants to force religion down your throat the second you get to us. I believe you find God after you get clean if you don't already know him. But I will tell you this. If you know God, your recovery is going to be a lot easier than if you don't.
That's what that's for me. I turn everything over to God. Anything that I'm about to go through in my day that I feel like it's going to be a struggle, I just look to God for the answers, right? I don't make decisions rashly like I used to at all.
Mm-hmm.
God's got to be involved in every aspect of my recovery. But I do not turn away anybody that doesn't have the same belief as me, because that would be wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
God tells me I need to help those people too.
Yep, and that's what our overall purpose is on this earth, is to bring people closer to him. Okay, for me, it's to bring them into the recovery and then bring them closer to him. It's just one step less. Go ahead, Val, come on in.
Hi.
Hey, how about you? How about God to you, Pat?
Look, if it wasn't because of my higher power, I wouldn't be clean today. Like, look, I've done so much damage to so many people, and I know my higher power has forgiven me for all the crimes, everything I've allegedly done in my life. I've been forgiven, and I know where I'm going. Like, I know where I'm going, regardless of when I'm done on this earth. Like, it could be today, I could get in a car accident. It could be 10 years, 100 years until I die. But look, I know that I'm saved, and my higher power today is going to keep me clean today, tomorrow, the next day, until the end of this earth.
Nice.
Very
Well said. How about you, Val? God, what's he play a role in you?
So I pray every night
Good.
before I go to sleep.
Me too.
And for things to change or life to change, and it did. I just want to let everyone, be reminded that higher power does not necessarily need to be God. And like myself, I don't believe God is my higher power. I don't know exactly what my higher power is, and that's all right. I do know that there is something spiritual that is stronger than myself that is helping me go through this recovery process. I do go to church, but I don't label God as my higher power. I don't bring God into my recovery. I live that as two separate things. I let God handle my life, but I handle my recovery in every aspect because I'm the one who has to do the work. God doesn't do work for you. Neither does your higher power. It just helps guide you through through the process of you doing the work. I pray out loud because I feel that as human beings, we are susceptible to helping others because we hear their problems out loud. So when I pray out loud, I'm hearing my own problems and I'm able to do something about it because I'm a nurturer. I want to help people, and that includes helping myself. I couldn't get clean if you paid me to before. And when I finally gave up my will to use drugs and left it in the hands of a higher power, which, like I said, I don't still know what this is, and I'm not going to search to figure out what my higher power is because it's working. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And so I love all that stuff that Val said.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow,
whether I
beautiful.
agree with him 100% or not, that's not for me to determine. I believe Val has found out what works for him, and that's so. Like he said at the end, I mean, why fix it if it ain't broken? You know, I believe that everything that he just said is all God. I believe that the way we've come into this world, the way we act is all God. I believe everything is God, right? You bounce it out. Bye, Val. Bye, Val. We're going to wrap this up. We only got about 5 minutes. We were supposed to only do this for a half hour, but we had so many people involved. Love it. Thank you for interacting. The one person who I didn't see on here is Amanda, and she's officially like a 5-hour. So again, I'll definitely call her up and be pissed like I normally am with her not showing up. And anyway,
She was up all night with all of us. I'm gonna be honest, she was.
Maybe I will let it slide this
Look,
one
me,
night.
Amanda, and Gracie all went to the hospital last night and tailgated.
They did.
At like
It was cool.
at like 1 o'clock to like 2:30.
Honking their horns, yelling. And
Whoa, I didn't. Now I feel like a dick.
They were cheering
You
more
are
on.
fine.
They were
Yeah.
tailgating in the parking lot.
That is so awesome. It's funny because I never got the invite.
Clean tailgating. Very well said.
I never got the invite. Like,
Oh, I'm surprised Amanda didn't tell you about it.
she didn't tell me a lot of stuff. Apparently,
I
Your
got
sponsee said that he was going to tell you today.
really.
That was after the tailgate.
Whoa, bro. Yeah, hide that face. You almost just vanished right there. Okay, so you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our website's currently in the works. I mean, it's got some stuff on there. Like I said, the biggest thing we struggle with is the technological aspect. I'm studying production right now to try to figure out the best ways to do intros and to build website and all that stuff. We've only been around for a year, so we are definitely a startup. I can't imagine where we will be in 15, 20 years.
I look forward to it.
What we'll be capable of. The size that we're growing is insane. 5-hour recovery. We really just want you to begin with, remember, learn to recover, choose to rejoice, become reborn, start to live a life of service and helping others. I think I said that actually backwards. Begin with remember, choose to recover, learn to rejoice, become reborn, and start to live a life of service and helping others. Basic formula.
I don't know how you fucked that up, Tony. You're the one that came up with
Yeah,
it.
right? Good job.
I have no idea
Sponsor.
either. Okay, as I'm getting older,
Good job.
I'm starting to get, I'm starting to lose things.
I want to thank everybody who asked all these wonderful
thank you
questions.
guys.
Spot on.
You guys came out and show, and that's so awesome. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We're gonna do this every week at Saturday here.
Yes, sir.
So Saturday at 11, their house meeting's at noon. So we better make sure we cut it real close.
Yeah. That's
So we
fine.
won't go longer than an hour. Please interact with us all. And then Monday nights, me and Amanda we'll do one. It's just going to be her, me, and Dave Jackson, other two members that are amazing parts of 5-hour recovery. It'll be more constructed. We won't have so many characters in and out. We'll answer very specific questions and we'll talk about very specific things. So
Absolutely.
So we love all of you guys. Thank you for interacting. We want you to have a place to go. We
You're
want you to have
loved
a
and
place-
wanted.
You're loved and wanted.
Yeah, you're loved and wanted.
If something doesn't fit for you, try something else. If that doesn't fit for you, try something else. Don't give up on yourselves.
Or anyone else.
I always say stop trying to fit into a puzzle and embrace the fact that you don't. This
Right.
puzzle, that you don't need to be a piece that fits in with everything else, okay? Be proud of who you are. Be thankful that you're in recovery and, keep working at it. So, is there anything else you guys want to say?
Yeah.
Deuces.
Peace. Wait, Val, you got anything else you want to spit fire about? Are you ready for me to wrap this up?
Yeah, if you need a tattoo, Jesse Fisher.
Jesse Fisher, we did some great shout outs today. Jesse
Yeah,
Fisher.
yeah.
I haven't seen him at 5-hour in a while. I think he hates me because I said his kids are loud.
No, it's just, he's busy working full time. His wife's working full time. They're trying to find a house and move right now, and it's just hectic for them.
Okay, because I was gonna say your kids are loud. So I mean that's not me being rude.
We love them.
I love them. They're great kids. They're just loud, bro. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right, I love you guys, and we're out. Right?
Bella,
Peace.
it's gonna be
Deuces.
Bella is going to be our producer, dude, in the background. Shut the